All right guys, welcome back. Zach Evnish here from the Underground Strength Gym, and in this video, I'm gonna show you 11 exercises to improve shoulder health and greatly reduce shoulder pain. Let's go.
I'm building athletes, I'm building athleticism.
These kids gotta put on muscles.
Exercise number one, band face pull apart. Okay, pull to the chin, pull to the forehead, and pull the band apart as you do it. Repetitions here, 15 to 25. Make sure as you do these, your trunk is organized and you're not arching, hunching, or curling it. That would be the wrong way. Next exercise, scapular retractions. Learn these from my friend Super D. You're going to get the band behind the tricep. You're going to give yourself a little chicken wing, just a little bit of tension on the band. Pull back, squeeze. Pull back, squeeze. Get that scap to be active. And same thing, trunk is organized and stable. And a few extra reps on a non-dominant side is always a good idea. Or if a side feels a little bit more beat up, you get a little more action. Okay, repetitions on here would be 10 to 15 reps. Next exercise, band pull aparts. So, you want to take an inch on each side. You're not trying to kill this exercise. A lot of people go too close. Okay, arms are locked, trunk is organized. Squeeze shoulder blades as you retract. Common mistake is people keep the shoulder blades retracted and then do it. We want scapula movement. We want that scap to move. After I do overhand, 10 to 15, I will go underhand and look at my grip. Palms are up. The mistake people make is they start going less fingers, and now it's no longer an underhand pull apart. So this allows me to get a little more rotator cuff work. So I'm starting to move into that external rotation. Hold, okay? And now I want to do different angles as well. So I like to do the 45-degree cross body. And it just tends to hit you from another angle. Both arms are moving and both arms are locked out. I like to give it a little hold when we get to the chest. Then I also want to do dislocators with the band. Thumbs go in. This could be done with a PVC pipe. And watch that the movement is from the shoulders. The movement is not through the back. I want to take that band to the lower back or the butt and bring it back to the hip. Okay. A lot of athletes in the beginning are going to struggle with this, and so I want you to understand, if you're a parent watching, trying to coach your son or daughter through this, in the beginning, nobody's an expert. Nobody's technique looks great. And the reason being is they haven't gotten strong enough. They haven't built that coordination that I've mentioned in other videos where we build intramuscular and intermuscular coordination. That's why strength is important, and then we couple it with activation and mobility. Next exercise with the bands is we want to do some distraction. Distraction is when we open up joint capsules, give it some space, give it some breathing room, and these were really invented by Dick Hartzell, the man who invented jump stretch, the band man. And then we've seen some amazing videos from my friends Super D and Kelly Starrett. So we're gonna go with a palms up approach here. We're gonna get those lats to stretch. Let it open up, and you can move. You don't have to be still. If you want to be still, you certainly can be still. I like this position. Don't let that shoulder shoot down. They get pulled back. I'm going to feel a good stretch here through like my pec, my serratus, shoulders opening up. If there's pain, Dick Hartzell always said, move out of the pain. Now we're going to stretch the bicep and the pec. So the bicep connects to the shoulder. So sometimes the bicep pain is not from a tight bicep, it's from the shoulder. Okay, so you have to look at what's going on above and below the pain area. Next one, we're going to switch to this. Get some lat stretching here. And I'm leaning into it. And just trying to breathe and relax. This could be done a little bit in the beginning of a training session, during the warm-up while the blood is flowing. It could also be snuck in between exercises as what we call a reset. My friend Big House Joe Ken calls them a reset. And then they could be done again at the end. So rather than dedicating only one moment of a training session to it, I like to sneak them in. Now we're gonna move over here to some of the working exercises that get you strong, but also help with stability. So we're gonna start with the earthquake bar from Band Bell. My friend Jimmy Seitzer created these. This is more of an advanced movement. I don't recommend a beginner or even an intermediate use this, but they're done slow. They could be done during the warm-up preparation, or they could be done as a main movement when you're getting away from heavier lifting. So you're using the conjugate method to ebb and flow. So I don't want to only use a straight bar or only use a Swiss bar. I want to go through periods where I incorporate stability. My favorite time to incorporate this for athletes is post-season. Their bodies have gone through a lot of trauma, physically, emotionally. They don't want to go heavy or train explosively. So we get into this kind of regenerative work, and it also builds muscle. Feels great. On rack, under control. Nice and smooth. Now we're going to move to a different Band Bell bar. This is called the Rhinoflex bar. You can go a little bit heavier on it, but it feels excellent. It has replaced my benching with the straight bar, and I feel zero shoulder problems. And coming from wrestling and early days MMA, early 2000s, it was called NHB, no holds barred fighting. I really destroyed my body through the incorrect physical preparation and incorrect sport training. And I like to go different grips. Sometimes I take a close grip. Sometimes I widen up that grip. And different methods. 1.5, half. Next up here, we have floor presses, but utilizing the Bosu ball. The reason why we utilize the Bosu ball is the scapula has much more freedom of movement. So if you're always on a bench or you're always on a hard floor, your scapula gets pinned, and that's how people start having shoulder injuries, okay? They destroy the labrum. So we want to think longevity. One of my favorite quotes from Matt Wenning, when you're in your 20s, train like you're in your 40s. So when you're in your 40s, you feel like you're in your 20s. So we got center mass bells here. You get fat bells from Rogue. They're both excellent. Scooch down a bit. And I like to go neutral grip. It's a little safer on the shoulders. That doesn't mean we never go elbows out. We're more of like an elbows slightly in. But I can feel my scap having freedom on the Bosu. You could also bridge through it. So what we got here is a Mace. Back in the day, they were called Indian clubs. I started using the Indian clubs pre-2010. I remember some of the smaller websites that are no longer around anymore, they made them, and they would ship them out to me so I could use them. And I came across them by seeing Carl Gotch utilizing clubs. and it was very impressive. He had this big rib cage. He was just built like a tank, and I saw how it opened up the body. So I wish I was more consistent with it, but here we are, you know, in the future compared to, 15 years ago, where we didn't have people making so much equipment. And so now, with the variety of companies making equipment, this is great. So you're gonna see a lot of external and internal rotation. It also helps open up the lats and the chest, and it's good to be able to have some mobility. Okay, here we go, one hand over the other. It goes around, then I pull. A lot of abs going on here. And these clubs are adjustable in weight. I can make them lighter or heavier. Yeah, so I will not do these so much as a standalone, but I will incorporate them as a reset and sneak them in between. Another thing as I've gotten older is the pace of my training is faster. I'm not so interested in, just chasing the weight. I like to get I like to train, I like to work, and that's a negative connotation. Is people are like, oh, you're sweating, you're tired. That's not a sign of a good training session. Well, when I'm training, I am working, and I think you need to get some of that push. So instead of sitting around touching your phone, why don't you do some work, punk? Cuban presses, chest supported. You don't need heavy weights. We got the 1 1/4 kilo, about 2.5 pounds here. And the reason why I wanted to use these was, number one, to make you jealous. They don't make these anymore. My friend Ivan from Ivanko sent it to me as a gift because he knew I would love it. So when I got them, I actually heard the iron gods, and I heard the sound like, ah. So these are beautiful, and it's like a mirror. So here we go. Get the top of the chest a little bit off the bench. Okay, we're gonna retract, external rotate, press and hold. Bring back, squeeze shoulder blades. Here, down. Very lightweight. You can even do them without weight. Want to get the scapula moving. Very important. And the wrist stays lined up. A lot of people try to bend that wrist. Hold. External rotate and hold. If you want to do some extra, you can. Press, hold. Little extra pump work. Thumbs up. Yeah. If you forget everything, or 99% of things, just focus on working the muscles you cannot see in the mirror. Work the posterior, work your posture muscles, work your lower back, glutes, hamstrings, mid-back. The way I explain it to the high school kids is I say, party up front, business in the back. Now we're gonna move on to some soft tissue work. You want the tissue quality to feel good. And so when you train, you tear things down. Your body gets tight, you build up scar tissue. So we're gonna move over here and we're gonna utilize a foam roller. I like this foam roller. It's from, it's called the Grid foam roller from Trigger Point. Buy it on Amazon. And so let's use some common sense here, okay? The shoulder connected to the pec, the upper back. So we wanna kind of loosen up those areas. All right, so I'm gonna work out my lats first. Lay that foam roller at your side. I'm gonna lay sideways, palms up. I'm gonna dig into that lat. I'm gonna find a knot, lean into it, and the arm could stay out. I could also get some internal, external rotation going to hit different pockets of the lat and even areas around the scap. All right, I found a hot spot here. Woo-wee. So I'm gonna lay in and dig in and let that knot release. And you wanna just relax. I like athletes, I say 5 minutes every night, get on a foam roller, okay? If your training is this much, but your recovery is this much, you're gonna fall apart. Okay, now for the sake of demonstration, I'm just doing one side. Obviously I would do both sides. And now what I wanna work with, you can use a softball, you could use a lacrosse ball, a baseball. My buddy Kelly Starrett has a lot of tools at his website called the Ready State that have, they're like ball shaped like this with kind of like the grid on it for soft tissue work and great for traveling. So I'm gonna go work this part of my chest, the pec minor, and then I'll work the muscles around the scapula, the trap, to loosen it up. You could do it against a wall. We don't really have good space on the wall since it's sheetrock. You need to do it against a hard wall. You could kind of get into a squat rack, which we'll try that as well. So we're gonna get into that pec minor, and you could lean on it as much as you want. So I'm going arm out, finding those knots. And I like to kind of go like a letter T, side to side, up and down. I'll also get that chicken wing position and dig, rotate, and smash that up, okay? Obviously we would work both sides. I would like to see athletes doing this, you know, on a regular basis. And if you are an overhead athlete, you'll probably be doing these positions a little more. All right, I found the trap. Here we go. First, I'll just hang out a little bit. Dig into that tightness. Now we'll move that arm. So we could hold positions. We could move. You can just feel a major difference. So I'm only working that left side right now. Kelly Starrett always talks about test, retest. You're gonna see that when I stand up, we're going to have a much bigger difference in mobility, okay? So you could see how much further that left arm is going back, probably a few inches. You can see lats are tight, pecs are tight on me. And so that's obviously why we want to work both sides. And now here I'll just demonstrate if I have the squat rack, I can kind of pin it into a spot and hold it with one hand. And I'm going to get a little lower and dig in. And we have some attachments for our Sornex racks with those trigger rollers. Get some motion here. So all the companies are selling that stuff. So let's break this down. We've got a lot of posterior activation with all the band work. We've got mobility when we do dislocators or use some sort of a club. We've got soft tissue work to improve mobility and the quality of movement. So we're smashing directly into areas and around. Sometimes when the shoulder hurts, we could go directly into that shoulder, right? And dig into it. Okay, and I'm gonna hold it to just keep that ball from going. We have strengthening exercises coupled with stability by utilizing the band bell bars. And we make sure, obviously, when we're training, that I'm performing a pushing movement, I'm gonna couple it or follow it up with more pulling movements. I like to do extra reps to the posterior compared to the front. And maybe younger athletes, younger coaches watching this, you may not understand it because I've been training for 33 years, and so that's a lot of mileage on the body. Some coaches out there are not even 33 years old, so they don't have the mileage on the body. So when you're an older coach, you learn, or an older lifter, you learn what is gonna keep you going in the iron game as long as possible. Now, over here, we've got a lot of specialty bars, okay? Da-da-da. We got the T-grip bar that has the revolving sleeves, which is much harder on stability. We've got thick grip, Black Widow Swiss bar, along with an angled bar. We've got another T-grip bar here. And even the use of thick bars changes that range of motion when you are benching or doing exercises such as pressing. And you saw us use the Bosu ball, but if you take a peek in here in the corner, you'll see that folding mat. I like to use that folding mat on the floor when we are doing floor presses, but I've also seen Donnie Thompson take it and put it on a bench. So what he's doing is essentially on a regular bench, even though he's got his fat pad, but he'll put a Bosu ball or a folding mat under it, and again, scapula has freedom to move. So implement these shoulder health and strengthening exercises to keep your shoulders healthy and to start reducing those joint aches and pains. Last bonus one that I forgot about, but you've seen it in other videos. I want you to hang on the regular. We will hang, I'd say a minimum of 5 times during a training session. Hang from bars, hang from rings, rotate the hands. The ab exercise is often hanging abs. And what we're doing is distraction to the shoulder capsule. And years ago, after I had a shoulder tear, I started just hanging from the rings in my garage multiple times a day. And I'd say within 48 hours, my pain subsided 90%. And it just got more space. So like to hang, let those lats stretch. And also with the monkey bars, I actually like to just, work them. Okay, and let that body hang and get different positions. Sometimes we do scap shrugs. Okay, move right, move left, and just let it open up. Keep those shoulders healthy. That way, if you're a 20-something-year-old now and then you have kids and you're in your 30s and 40s and you're throwing that football, you're throwing that ball with your son or daughter, I want you to say, "Thank you, Zach Avanesh. I love you." And that's it, guys. Enjoy this video. Share it with coaches, friends. Like, comment, subscribe, and be awesome. Peace. Guys, thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for subscribing. And now I want to go over the many ways that you guys can go to the next level. We've got links underneath every YouTube video so you could see our programs on Train Heroic. Most importantly, you could get on the free newsletter where you not only get a free badass training course, but you're also going to get a welcome discount code that you can apply to our training courses. You'll also see links for the Underground Strength Coach certification, the Strength and Sports Performance Coach certification, the Underground Strength Academy. A lot of different programs, a lot of different opportunities, but the way to be in the know when they get released or when we're holding a sale is to be on the newsletter at zachstrength.com. That's what you want to do. Thanks for supporting, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Boom.